Ready to make a real impact every day? Join the Active Day Home Care team and help clients maintain their independence in the comfort of their own homes. Make a difference in someone's life as you provide essential daily assistance and protect their health and happiness. Earn up to $20 an hour and enjoy additional perks like optional daily pay, 401k, paid time off, ongoing educational training, and more. Join a team that values care, compassion, and your professional growth. Visit activeday.com to apply.
If you love entertainment, current events, and Hollywood, don't miss Creator to Creators, hosted by the filmmaker Meosha, known for the Shudder hit documentary Horror Noir and the acclaimed film Anatomy of an Anti-Hero, Redemption. This show features interviews with filmmakers and creatives from around the globe. Join the fun with guest celebrities and gain valuable insights. Subscribe now and follow Creator to Creators.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Creators to Creators today. Today we have a special guest.
Jimii, number one.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes. So I always like to go to the beginning. I always say that the beginning charts our trajectory, things that we pick up as we're children, kind of follow us in our adulthood. Tell me a little bit about your childhood and kind of how did you find your way into music?
Well, I was the firstborn, hence Jimii number one. I was the one who had to go through most of the challenges in life and all of that from new parents. And I also found that I was often the first in many other aspects of my life, with me being biracial and multiracial. And because of that, I also enjoy different types of music, jazz being one of them. I love opera. I played classical music. I was always first chair in most of the orchestras I played in when I was younger. And I've of course have gone to church most of my life, and I like spiritual music, and I think God's been a pretty major part of my existence. So that's how I ended up doing what I'm doing today and putting out this song and trying to put a positive spin on spirituality and spread a little bit of hope. That's
Absolutely.
my idea. Share some love and some hope.
That's what it's all
Yeah.
about, right? I mean, the music is so
Yes,
great. Hope to a song of hope to us all. I think it's such a important message because of the world that we live in. It's so chaotic and it's just crazy all around. Like a lot of people are hurting and they need a place to escape.
yes, definitely. And I with this particular song that I just put out, or I'm promoting right now, My Wish. It's come to my attention that we in life have come to accept someone else's limited imagination of what it means to be human. And by accepting that, we've fallen prey to other people's agendas, which is kind of a sad thing when you find yourself participating and being part of things that are not of your doing necessarily, but you have to because it's the world that you live in, you know?
Right.
Or you find often that you have to, but I guess you don't. But often people are ostracized and othered and attacked because they're not like everybody else. And it's hard to follow your own path, you know?
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, I think that's the thing. It's like we're living in a world where a lot of people are searching for themselves or figuring out what their purpose is, what they're here for. So, and I think a lot of it
Right.
because of society. I think society has this, like they give us all these, we're constantly being bombarded with images, through the media, through music, through just we're always being stimulated. So it's really hard to quiet the noise and, break out of the matrix almost.
Right, right, definitely. Um, I don't know. There's been a lot. We live, especially I think being Americans and living in America, we're often forced. A lot of people have been forced to an agenda that's not necessarily theirs.
Yeah,
A lot of people have been, you don't do as I say, you don't work, you don't, I mean, there are certain things you have to do to get work, et cetera, et cetera. But, um, there wasn't a lot of work available for a lot of Black people back in the 60s.
right.
I mean, the opportunities were not at all what they are today, and they're still not what they should be.
Hmm.
There's a lot of systemic racism that's in America, and a lot of people don't even know how that affects them. They don't really know or understand how they're led to believe things that are not necessarily true,
Hmm.
and how difficult it can be to exist when you're the one that's being picked on and no one else cares because they don't have to deal with it. It's not their problem,
Right.
you know. So, and I think this video, My Wish, I'm really trying very hard to bring light and love to people that often find themselves being othered and find themselves alone. And I don't know whether you know it or not, but half of the LGBT children have considered suicide.
Hmm.
And for half of any group, let's say, half of the baseball league, in your town, they want to commit suicide, that's something major.
Hmm.
That's something very important that could be addressed and needs to be addressed because we're still on a trajectory and we're right now in a trajectory of there are people who are trying to drive us backwards.
Right.
We're trying to take all of these small increments of things that should have been ours because we're alive, because we're here. It shouldn't require someone else's approval or negating necessarily. Uh, there, I don't know. Uh, I want to do something to help to let people know that they're not alone and do something that's positive.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. 100%. So it's so important. I mean, because like we only get one go around, right? That's it. And
you can say that again.
you
That we
know,
know of.
well, yeah. I mean, in this lifetime, we got to end it somehow. We can't.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
a human body, but I just think it's so important, like you said, to just leave some hope and some type of I don't know, just it's positivity with people. I think it's so important.
Yeah, it really is. Um, uh, have you seen the video? Have you had a chance to see it?
Yes,
The
I loved it.
the,
I thought it was
the
beautiful,
video
and I thought it was
for
really
My
well
Wish?
done.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of the photography I've done over the years, some of that's in there, but actually most of it came probably from the last gay pride there was here in Chicago. But at the end, there's a picture of this guy that's dressed up like Jesus, and he's got a headband around his head, and he's holding a sign that says, "I am not with these guys." You
Right.
know, there's this uh, theory that God needs to have people being mouthpieces for him.
Mm,
And it's unfortunate that uh, with God being love, why would he tell somebody, and with God having created everything and everything being good, because I don't think God creates things that are not good, how could you possibly think that something that's part of nature and something that's part of life for many people is not of God and it's not good?
Hmm.
I don't know of anything that's created. I mean, there is fire. Fire does destroy things.
Right.
There are things that, could be detrimental if they're not used properly. But I don't think God created anything that's not wonderful. The shades of the sun, the shades of colors and flowers and the other things that he's made, they're all beautiful. And
Right.
I don't know how someone could say that because someone is gay or transgender or they're this, that, or the other, that there's something wrong with them.
Hmm.
I mean, until you start creating things yourself, and
Right.
then you can judge whether it's good or not. That's your right because you created it.
Right.
But supposedly, if God created it, I'm calling it good,
Yeah.
and there's a lot, you know, uh, that's just where I sit in it. You know, it may sound crazy, and I know there's probably a lot of people that would like to jump on the bandwagon and say I'm wrong, but uh, I don't know. I think the world needs a little bit of hope, and there are people that should not have to exist the way that they have to. You
Right.
know,
Right. Yeah. I agree. I was talking to a friend about kind of like this about, um, just in general of like, what the world should be or how people should be. But unfortunately, I mean, all we can do is just try to control our micro influence or whatever that we have,
uh,
whatever we can control, and like you
and let
said,
our
do our
light
best.
shine.
Yeah.
Let your light shine, and if your light shines bright enough, someone will see it and want to be in the light. You know,
Absolutely.
there's an old. I've always thought of Jesus, and I'm saying Jesus because I think it's an American thing, in some ways, although Buddha and Muhammad and on and on. I believe in anything that leads you to a better life and a better existence and whatever you want to believe, right on, you know. But I do think that Jesus in particular was a teacher, and I think there is a lot of things that people don't know, and there's a lot of things that people are afraid to even explore because of uh, dogma
Hmm.
and because of fear, et cetera, et cetera. And like, do you know where the word sin comes from?
Tell us, please.
It's an archery term.
Hmm.
It's a derivative of sinar, which means to miss the mark. And if you're living in sin, you're actually missing the mark. There's not something wrong with you. It doesn't mean that you're, horrible or you're this, that, or the other. It means that you're missing the mark.
Mm.
You're not actually doing what you should be doing. And I think the day I found that out, I was in shock because my imagination of what it meant. And there are a lot of people that interpret things their way, and they're more than welcome to do whatever they want to. But I do think it's important to know, to be aware and be informed, you know?
Right.
And so I think it's very important that hopefully, in some ways, there can be some enlightening somewhere in what I'm doing and in the world, it needs it because there are a lot of people walking around in the darkness, and it's really interesting how easy it is for people to be to succumb to things that don't even make sense,
Right.
you know, that
Right.
aren't even common sense,
Hmm.
you know. But I don't know. I guess there are people who have to have people to beat up or
Absolutely. You know, it's
some something to make themselves feel better, make themselves feel better than someone else, you
that's so
know.
true. Yeah, very true. I actually read in your bio that you worked on the as a production team of Oprah Show. I was meaning to ask you about that. How is that, and how did
Yeah.
that happen?
How did it happen? Well, it kind of happened like everything else does in my life. Divine intervention.
Love it.
Uh, you know, I was working in a job that I wasn't really crazy about, and for years, Roosevelt was saying to me, "Why don't you come on down? Why don't you come on down?" I was like, "I'm not getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't want to be here working, you know." I'm going to bed sometimes at 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't, that's not my idea of fun, you know.
Right, right.
And uh, I one day I just said, enough of this. Why don't I just go do that? So I went down and I interviewed and I got hired. And boy, was it really something. It was just amazing to see how well that machine ran. It ran like clockwork. I
Mm,
mean, like a Rolex. You know what I'm saying? It
right.
was it was really amazing being a part of her world, you know,
Hmm.
because excellence, especially Black excellence,
Yeah.
it's a wonderful thing to see and to have the opportunity to be a part of. I've saw people there that I was in the room with people I would have never dreamt in a million years I'd ever be in a room with, let alone talk to, and on and on. It was it was really amazing. It was really a blessing. I really really enjoyed it, and it's really one of the things that kind of shocked me the most was how much people, the effect of people seeing themselves,
Uh-huh.
people seeing themselves on TV, because there were some guests that would come back. And I found it fascinating how once they saw what they looked like and they saw what the rest of the world saw when they were just being themselves, they changed their minds about things and they saw things different. You've seen those shows. You've seen the what are they called? Let's have them back. Let's see where they are now, and
Oh
then
yeah,
have the people
yeah,
all.
yeah.
So I don't want no niggers living in my neighborhood. I don't want this. I don't want that. And then when they went home and saw it, they were like, "Oh God, what was that? Who am I?"
Right.
Because they don't. When you live in your world and you are able to do whatever it is that you do, which I guess we all are guilty of that. We're all live in our world and it becomes comfortable. Um, it's really interesting to see how they've changed and how they change.
Hmm.
And it was really also interesting to me to see some people that are not on. They're not camera ready. They're not on. The lights are not on. They're just backstage being themselves,
Hmm.
and it was really great. It was
I love
great.
that.
It was
I
really
love
great.
that.
I got to
How
see
was
her
how was
introduce
Oprah to
things.
work with? Did you? I mean, I'm sure she was amazing.
She's a business lady. She's about business. And anybody anybody to me who is about trying to do the best they can and shine and lead and help and bless other people and on and on. I can find no fault in it. You know, I mean, everybody has bad days. You know, everybody has moments that they're probably not, we're human.
Absolutely.
We all have our days, but I thought she was very sweet. She's a nice lady. She's very kind and she's generous of spirit, and in other ways, she she's about helping people to better themselves, and she truly did that for me. I got a chance to fine tune my artistry and understand, how the camera works and what it does.
Hmm.
And it was just, I don't know, it was really different. It was kind of hard getting up early in the morning, but after a while, I guess I got used to it,
Yeah, yeah,
It was,
yeah.
yeah, I got used to
Yeah,
it.
I mean it's I'm sure it's like one of those things you look back on, you're like, wow, yeah, I was on that show, iconic show, right? That will forever go
Mhm,
down in
mhm.
history.
Whitney and Mariah Carey when they sang, I forgot what movie that was from. Something
Wow.
about Egypt. They sang live on that show. It was great seeing them. It was great seeing
Wow.
Roberta Flack, and uh, uh, there are a few people I missed though. There are a few people I didn't get to see. I would have loved to have seen Diana Ross
Oh, wow.
and talked to her, because I wasn't there for that show. Um, I-
So
God,
many
I'm
icons.
not even sure if she. Oh, Black. I was like, oh my God, Steve Harvey.
Yeah.
Kim Fields, a lot of people. I just saw a lot of people there. Wayne Dyer, um, oh God, Gloria Vanderbilt. Um, there were just, it was, I can't even tell you all the people I saw. I saw so many,
Has there
it
been a
was
moment
really
in,
like,
in the journey that like say you met someone that was, maybe uber famous and you got to talk to them and maybe you felt they left an impact on you?
uh, wow, Felicia Rashad, she kind of did. But she mothers everyone, I think.
Yeah.
That's her thing.
Yeah.
She said something to me that I really took to heart, and I thought, yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that. I get it. I get it. Her and God, who else? Um, I think I didn't talk to her very much, but just seeing her backstage, uh, Roberta Flack,
Oh, wow.
she she was like just really beautiful, really cool person. Quincy Jones,
Nice.
he was. I got to sit with him a couple times, and I really wished I had said something to him like, this is what I want to do, and God, I would love it if you could tell me what I should do, and on and on and on. And on. But my job was much more important than trying to, so I didn't mess with that or him. I just did my job and moved on. But you know what? I think there's something really magical about rubbing elbows with people.
Yeah.
You know, there's something about being around certain people that are moving in the right direction that blesses you, that does something for your spirit,
Yeah.
that Wayne Dyer, when he was there, he hardly said anything to me, but his energy was so beautiful and so strong.
Love
It
that.
moved me in a way I really didn't expect. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It was
Hmm.
like it was like the time I met Maya Angelou.
Oh, wow.
I met her and it wasn't even at the show. It was somewhere else. I met her and she walked up to me in a store, in a department store. I was working for Christian Dior,
Hmm.
and she walked up to me and she said, "It's nice to see you." And the way she said it, and the kindness in her voice and her love of spirit from her soul, I felt like I didn't know who she was
Right.
because I was just standing there, waiting for my next sale or the next person to come along to help or whatever. And I was thinking about other things. And she walked up to me and I was like, and what's a blessing is when I saw her, I thought she was a friend of our families.
Oh, wow.
So immediately this rush of like, I was like, oh, and then I realized, well, that's not Mrs. Jackson. But so I wasn't really, I was really pleasant. And I was like, it's good to see you. But when she walked off, her energy of coming over to me and just speaking to me, and she was walking with a group of people. She came back to say hello to me.
That was beautiful.
And it was like at that moment, I could tell that she knew what it took for me to be where I was. And she knew the challenges I faced. And she was like, she just blessed my spirit. It was like meeting a queen, and I didn't have to stand in line. I,
Right.
I didn't have to curtsy. I didn't
Yeah.
have to do anything. She blessed me and graced me with her presence.
I
And
love
I had I speaking of, being around somebody and having someone do something that was memorable that you'll never forget, that touched you to your core. That is those moments. That was
Yeah.
one of those moments for me.
I
Yeah.
love that. That's a beautiful moment. Yeah, I find it like when those happen and they see you like really and it's
Yes.
like it's a
They
good
see
reminder
you.
like I'm on the right track, you know. This is just a
Yeah.
little nudge that God like kind of sends a message. It's like you're doing good, kid. It's all good, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like a kiss from an angel,
Yeah,
or uh, a hug to let you know I'm with you, and I'm there, and it's all good in your love.
exactly.
Don't you just keep on, and it's all good. It's all
Absolutely.
good.
I have a fun
Yeah.
question for you. If you could perform, or even just not even perform, but yeah, let's say perform or even be managed by any artist, living or dead, who would it be and why?
Who would it be? Oh my God. It would be either Stevie Wonder or Patti LaBelle
Nice.
because, because they are my idols. They're people that, in fact, I wrote a song and I tried to get it to Patti LaBelle because I could. One night I woke up and I heard her singing it. It
Wow.
was the strangest thing. You know what I mean? I was like, let alone let alone me having written the song, to be hearing her singing it, and it was her, she was singing it.
That's wild.
I was like, oh my God, this is really something. It was like, oh my God, this is really. But I love Patti LaBelle. I love her. I would love to be, I would just like for her to work with me. You know what I mean? Because
Absolutely.
she's like the queen mother. She has been around forever. She knows the business. She's got a great heart and a great spirit. In fact, anyway, that's another story I'll tell another time. But
I love it. I
but
love
her,
it.
her and Stevie Wonder, and Stevie, and actually, I was close to both of them. And Stevie Wonder, uh, I met him after one of his concerts, and there was a cousin of his that worked in cosmetics, and she says, "Oh yeah, Stevie's my cousin," or something, or some relative. I told her I was going to the concert. She says, "Well, if you want to, come backstage, I'll introduce you to him." And I said, "Okay." And they told me what to do, let him know who you are, touch it so he knows you're there, or whatever. And there was a lot of his family there because it was in Chicago, and he's from not far from here. So I guess when he gets close enough, everybody comes and they have a big party and they have food and that sort of thing. So I was there and I walked up to him and I remember saying to him, uh, because I had just seen the concert and sitting there watching his concert was so incredible and realizing what he had done in his body of work and how much love he had put into the world and how much um uh he got people to think
Right.
and how much he got people to feel and the way he expressed love and purity and his consciousness and on and on. I realized that what Jesus said what he meant when he said, "And greater things than these shall you do." And I walked up to him and I said, now I get it. I often wondered how anyone could not outdo Jesus, but can do even greater things. And I thought the love that was in that room and the energy that was in that room and the beauty and on and on, I just thought, this is what Jesus was talking about. And I told him that, and he said, "Well, thanks. I appreciate that."
I love that.
And it was really cool. So I like his spirit. I like his style. I
Yeah.
like everything about him and his excellence. There's a lot of things I've done. I wish I could do some things different, could have done some things different.
Right.
Um, I wish that maybe I could have worked with, had the opportunity to work with him, to work with Quincy Jones, to
Right.
work with a few other people that are excellent in what they do. Well, fortunately and unfortunately, I did a lot of this CD and the work on this myself.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
I I I did all the arrangements. I wrote all the songs. I wrote the lyrics. I did everything. But and I worked with a guy that's a very good producer. He was able to help me clean up my tracks and clean up things to make it so that it flowed better than it was.
Right.
And um, I kind of wish that in hindsight, maybe I had hired musicians and on and done some things different. But you know what? You live and you learn. I don't think this is going to be the last time that I do
Absolutely.
something. And I'm really hoping that I can shed a little more light and love into the world. So I'm going to keep doing that until I'm not here anymore.
That's right. I love that. I love that. You
You know
found
what
your
I'm saying?
purpose, you know what you love, and you're doing an amazing job at it. So kudos to you.
Well, I hope so. I've been blessed enough to be able to have been in enough businesses that had a lot of people around me, that I was working with other people, and I had the opportunity to work with people and hopefully be a blessing in their lives.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Really quick, um, what advice would you give to someone that wants to get into music?
What advice would I give? Well, it's a huge industry. Do what you love. Make sure you always do what you love and what your heart tells you to do, because you'll always be at peace and you'll always be joyous. You'll always um, be headed in a direction that will be a blessing for you and the people around you, because you'll be doing what you were meant to be doing.
Right. Absolutely. I love that. It's beautiful. Beautifully said. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
coming on. It's a pleasure talking to you. And where can people find you on social media to follow everything that you have going on?
I'm on all the streaming outlets. I have my own website. It's JIMIIN1, Jimmy in one, and .com. And you can listen to the songs there. You can also you can download the songs off of the website. And I do have CDs, but I was going selling CDs through CD Baby, but I don't think I'm doing that anymore. But I know I'm on Spotify. I know I'm on all the other major outlets. I'm on, let's see,
Love that. Well, thank you again.
all of them. Yeah.
All of them.
Oh, well, at least most of them. And I'm also on YouTube, so you can check out the videos on YouTube in case somebody wants to see what I look like.
Yes,
That
go
kind of
check it
thing.
out. He's a very
See
handsome
how
man.
oh, you're very kind. You're very pretty too, I might
Well,
add.
thank you.
You,
Thank
you
you.
look like these girls from the Olympics. I'm telling you, you're really you got that look. Yeah,
Well, hey, I'm trying to be the
yeah.
next Oprah. That's the goal.
Well, you know what? You can do it.
Thank you.
You're already look at you. You're already doing interviews. You know, it's funny. I think you'd be very good at it.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Your mouth to God's ears.
Anytime. I'll throw it in the universe for you.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
Thank you again. And thank you all for listening. And always remember to live, love, laugh. We'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.